Have you ever been sure that you were going to get a job offer, but then it turns out you were the backup candidate? This actually happens all the time. And although sometimes it feels like it probably comes out of left field, there are absolutely clues you can look for to see if you are going to be the backup candidate or if you're going to be the candidate getting the offer. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why this happens and what you can look for to identify, am I going to get an offer or am I more likely to be the safety candidate? All right, let's go. Now here's a fact. The reality is every single recruiter is incentivized to find multiple candidates for every single role. Not just one perfect candidate, but rather 3 great candidates who are a good fit for the role and the team and are hireable. And it's not just recruiters, it's also hiring managers. In fact, hiring managers will have a second place and a third place candidate, and they will keep them warm, even though they do not intend on hiring that person because they are waiting for that first place candidate, the candidate they actually want to hire, to accept the job offer. Now you might be wondering, why does this happen? Why do they give people hope just to snatch it away and hire someone else when they know they probably aren't going to hire that person? Well, the big reason is that candidates don't always stay in the process to the end and accept a job offer. As a person who's been in recruitment for about 14 years, I can tell you all the time, I have seen so many times where there are great candidates and you're like, this is the perfect candidate for the role. And you have every intention on bringing them on, hiring them and making them a part of the team, but then they drop out of the process. Sometimes they drop out for a different opportunity. Sometimes they get a counteroffer from their current company and decide to stay. And sometimes they decide they're not interested. So the reason why hiring managers, HR people, and recruiters are working to get multiple great candidates in the interview process for every single job, well, it's a risk avoidance mechanism. They are trying to make sure at the end of the day they hire someone without having to restart the process, but because they put every single egg in one basket. Now, this isn't a pleasant thing. As a person who is a candidate, you've probably been in the process, you've probably interviewed before, you probably thought everything was going great just to find out that they're not going to hire you. And it probably felt like you were waiting for a really long time. Like they knew they weren't going to go with you as a candidate, but for whatever reason, they didn't tell you until much later. And the reality is this happens. This absolutely happens. There's a term, it's called keeping the candidate warm. And all recruiters keep candidates warm. They do that if it's a candidate you're going to hire because maybe they need to go through a certain process before they can actually extend an offer, or they keep backup candidates warm just in case that first person declines the offer. Then you can go with your second place or third place candidate. By the way, if you are liking this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. It's free, it tells YouTube I don't suck, and it helps me a ton and motivates me to make more videos like this. And if you're looking to land your dream job, in the comments, I have linked my Ben Talk Talent full interview guide. It is brand new and it's a complete guide that has 25 videos designed to help you land your dream job. It has activities to go through and fill in your answers, and it has templates to reach out to recruiters and hiring managers. Okay, so how do you know if you're the backup candidate or you're the candidate that they're probably going to move forward with and give an offer? And a lot of it comes down to what they say and what they don't say. Here's something you need to watch for. If you are the backup candidate, they're going to tell you things like, yeah, sorry it's taking so long. We'll probably know in the next week or 2 if we're going to move forward or what next steps are. Now, if you listen to that, it can sound hopeful, but what's actually happening there is you're noticing 2 things: a lack of urgency and ambiguity in terms of the next step. They didn't really say anything. They said maybe in a week or 2 you will hear something. That's quite nebulous. It doesn't really tell you anything. Now compare and contrast that with what you can expect if you're the #1 candidate who they expect to extend an offer to. Now, if you were the #1 candidate, they are going to check in with you frequently. They will text you, they will email you, they will call you, especially the recruiter, keeping you warm, just saying, what's going on, how are you doing, what's changed since we last spoke? What they are doing is they are making sure that another opportunity hasn't popped up and now you might be more interested in that. They are checking in with you frequently because it limits risk and allows them to stay in front of threats when it comes to securing your employment. They're also going to close you on price. They're going to check in with you and go, hey, refresh my memory. What were you looking for salary-wise again? Okay, so what do you need bonus-wise again? Did you take a look at the insurance? Little things like this are indications that they're interested. I have been in recruitment for 14 years, and the second and third place candidate, you're not aggressively trying to close them. You're not trying to find out every single detail of compensation to make sure it aligns, because there is no intention on actually giving them an offer unless the first place candidate declines, at which place then you would go and you would actually ask those questions. Another thing that's going to happen if you are the front runner candidate, the candidate they expect to extend an offer to, is they're going to try to sell you on the opportunity. They'll say things like, oh, you're really going to like working for this team, or oh, this is a great manager. What I've routinely heard is that people love working for this manager because of blank, right? They are going to sell you on the opportunity, on the training and development, the workplace culture, the manager, the benefits, all those things. If they have not tried to sell you on any of that, specifically the recruiter, that is a big indication that you might be the backup candidate. Now, how can you avoid being the backup candidate, instead being the candidate who gets a job? Well, one thing you could do is avoid doing things hiring managers hate in the interview process. In fact, I made a video here. This video here is 11 things that hiring managers hate in the interview process. And I made this video because there were a lot of things good candidates do that hurt their chances of landing a job. And if you know what they are, you can avoid them. So I'm done here, but I will see you over there.